Hey everyone, welcome back to Smoking Ape. Today I'm bringing you my full review of Ghost of Yotei, the hotly anticipated follow-up to Ghost of Tsushima. I've spent dozens of hours exploring, fighting, and living in the world of Izo. And in this video I'll go deep into story, characters, gameplay, controls, graphics, and ultimately, whether it's worth your time. Let's get into it. Ghost of Yotei is set in 1603 in the region called Ezo, later known as Hokkaido. You play as Atsu, a mercenary divided by outlaw figure who returns to her homeland after 16 years to avenge the murder of her family by a group known as the Yotei Six. The narrative is built around this revenge journey, but with deeper emotional weight. Players can at certain points revisit memories from Atsu's past, exploring what shaped her, and this helps ground her motivations. Even though it's an open-world game, the developer has emphasized that the story structure is more linear than fully branching. You don't choose the order of taking down the Yotei Six. The path is guided for emotional impact. Along the way, you'll meet various supporting characters, factions, and face moral tensions. Revenge versus justice, the cost of violence, etc. The strength of Ghost of Yotei's story is that it doesn't feel like just another revenge checklist game. Atsu is emotionally complex, and the memory system helps make her more human. At times, pacing lags, especially in the mid-game, as you traverse side content. But overall, the narrative does a solid job of keeping you invested. Many reviewers also note pacing hiccups in the middle. The strength of Ghost of Yotei's story is that it doesn't feel like just another revenge checklist game. Atsu is emotionally complex, and the memory system helps make her more human. One caveat: some critics point out that side content or repeated tasks can start to feel formulaic hot springs, bamboo cuts, altars, etc. Exploration is a highlight. Riding through snowy peaks or flower fields, discovering hidden shrines or haunted ruins, it feels cinematic and immersive. Yes, some side activities are repetitive, but the world sells the journey well. Combat is refined from Tsushima. It's more lethal, with greater emphasis on precision, timing, and reading enemy behavior. A key new mechanic: disarming enemies. You can strip weapons from opponents. This adds tension and opens tactical options. Weapons. There's a broader variety, including ranged weapons divided by firearms now confirmed. Enemy variety is increased. Foes adapt and switch tactics. This forces you to think, not button mash. The cinematic modes affect how the combat feels visually. Kurosawa mode: black and white aesthetic, film grain, muted sound for a classic samurai feel. Miike mode: closer camera in fights, more mud, more visceral intensity. Watanabe mode adds lo-fi beats during exploration for a relaxed vibe. Quality of life improvements. NPCs sometimes bring quests to your camp, less backtracking, better menus, more streamlined progression. The combat feels satisfying and weighty. The disarm mechanic is a fresh addition that keeps fights from becoming stale. The different modes offer a fun twist for players who want stylized visuals. Sometimes in large fights the camera can feel a bit tight, especially in Miike mode, but overall it's a strong evolution. On PlayStation 5, the DualSense integration is deep. You'll feel environmental effects like raindrops via haptics. Use the touchpad, for example. Sumi-e painting flicks, and even blow into the mic, for example to help light campfires. In some contexts, the UI is refined compared to Tsushima, with cleaner menus, more intuitive quest tracking, better map interactions, and an improved photo mode. Sometimes mid-cutscenes or minor dialogue scenes show inconsistencies in character models or lighting. Radio times. Accessibility is okay, but not perfect. There are subtitle and visibility options, simplified control schemes, and combat aids. But some features like colorblind modes are missing. I found the controls responsive and satisfying. The DualSense features are a nice touch and help immersion. The UI is polished and generally easy to navigate. The graphical hiccups in small scenes are minor and didn't break immersion. Visually, Ghost of Yotei is stunning. Ray Tracing Pro mode on PS5 Pro delivers crisp lighting, reflections, and environmental polish. Reviewers reported technical stability and visual fidelity over 55+ hours. The landscaping, foliage, weather, snow, and light shafts are beautifully executed. Many moments feel like paintings in motion. The audio design is strong. From traditional Japanese instruments to ambient environmental sounds, the soundtrack ties deeply to mood. In cinematic modes, Kurosawa, Miike, Watanabe, audio and visual effects shift, for example. Kurosawa mode mutes voices, adds film, wind, etc. Occasional visual inconsistencies are reported, character models or lighting in simpler scenes, but these are rare. This game is a showcase of what modern hardware can do artistically. The visuals overwhelmed me in a good way. The mix of wide vistas and intimate moments is powerful. The audio complements everything, and the cinematic modes give fun variety. Minor graphical slips don't detract overall repetition in side content. Some activities, for example hot springs, shrine tasks, bamboo cutting, altars, feel similar across the map. Pacing issues mid-game. A few segments feel slow or overly drawn out. The linear ordering of the boss list, Yotei 6, reduces some freedom in narrative flow. Lack of certain accessibility options, for example colorblind mode, is a missed opportunity. In rare cases, visual or dialogue scenes have inconsistencies in rendering or animation. Some critics argue that despite improvements, the game doesn't leap far beyond Tsushima in all mechanics. Parts feel familiar. On balance, Ghost of Yotei is a very strong sequel. It refines the formula from Ghost of Tsushima, adds meaningful new features, and delivers a cinematic, emotional experience. If you loved Tsushima, this will feel familiar in spirit, but elevated more weight, more polish, more depth. Even if you haven't played Tsushima, this is a solid entry point into a cinematic samurai action world with strong storytelling, satisfying combat, and gorgeous design. Score divided by rating, if you use those, I'd give it approximately 8.5, 9 divided by 1, 0. Very highly recommended. Non-perfect, but a must-play for fans of the genre. Ghost of Yotei blends beauty, brutality, and emotion in a way few open-world action games manage. Despite some rough edges, it's one of the more memorable gaming experiences of 2025. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this review, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and leave a comment. What do you want to see in Ghost of Yotei? What modes will you try first? Also, let me know if you want a tips and tricks or how to build Atsu video next. See you in the next one.